Welcome everyone to another session of the Mastermind Book Club. In this session, we are summarizing / reviewing part one of 3 parts of a new book, Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but I believe that's how it is. Kanheman. In order to introduce our first summary, I'd like to introduce Gina Pouchet. Ready?
Right. Thank you, David. Yes, this book is about understanding human behavior better. And it introduces us to like 2 different systems that goes around in our minds, so to speak. And one system is like where we kind of think kind of quickly, intuitively, and based on emotion. And the other way of thinking has to do with us deliberating and thinking in a logical manner. So it helps us to understand human behavior a little bit better and the working of our mind. I found the book to be a little bit dense, but it also is, it breaks down some of the ways that we can apply some of these tools. But I think it's a book that helps us to understand some of the biases that we might hold when we're thinking, and to be a little bit more mindful. Like some people say, don't believe your thoughts, test them out. So I'm finding the book to be very fascinating, and looking forward to reading a bit more of it. Yeah, David.
Thank you, Gina. Appreciate that. And it is interesting. Charles Comer, are you ready?
Yes, good evening. Charles Comer here, Mastermind Book Club. The book Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. He's a 2002 economic Nobel Prize winner, economic science Nobel Prize winner. He's currently 89 years old. And just as Gina was saying, the book covers 2 theories of thought. One theory is that we do things what they call autonomous, or hope I'm saying this word, heuristic, which just means that there's no real thing going on. Like when you chew your food, that's automatic. When you're asleep and your body functions are going and doing their things, that's automatic. And a lot of times we live through our automatic source, or that first system that we're talking about, which is our fast system. Driving your car, you're talking on the phone. But if you have to drive the car, talk on the phone, and get directions, sometimes you have to pull over, because that requires that slow thinking to be able to correctly get to where you want to go. And these are some of the things that he talks about in the book. The book is akin to a book that we had before called uh, Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits. So it reminds me of that. I'm enjoying the book so far, and I look forward to bringing you some more insight next week.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles. Reggie Hilliard.
Good day, everyone. Reggie Hilliard of the Mastermind Book Club. Touching on the book that we're reading, which is about thinking fast and slow, which I do a lot of thinking. I think we all do a lot of thinking. We do some slow thinking and some fast thinking. So the thing about the thinking is, like, what are you actually thinking about? How are you using your mind? How are you using your thoughts? How are you using your brain? And for me, it's really thinking about the effort in which you're putting into using your mind, right? Your brain, whatever word we want to use there, right? And so some things you use your brain, your mind, whatever, it's very easy. Some things require a lot more attention, has been mentioned. But the reality of it is that you can actually always improve upon that, because as you may be doing certain things and you're using certain amounts of effort, a lot of times you actually programming yourself, and you can become a better programmer of yourself. As I tell people, we're programmers. So maybe one thing may be initially hard for you to do, as we may talk about some of the things that we're doing, and some of these things are automatic, but some things may be hard for you to do, but you can actually program yourself so that you have a better way in which you can go through that thing so that it becomes more automatic. And then what happens ultimately is you become a better programmer and you become more efficient at the things that you're doing. So that's the goal, I think, ultimately, is to become a lot more efficient in the way that you're using your brain, your mind, so that you can do certain things with less effort, that they're using so little bandwidth. And then you can actually concentrate your bandwidth and your attention and your mind and your resources on things that actually would be more beneficial to you. And then you could actually orchestrate or architect a life that you may more likely want to have versus being beholden or subdued or taken down by some other things that would lead you to a life that you don't want to have. So that's what I'll say.
Thank you, Reggie. This book starts out with a lot of testing for me. Before we started this recording of this review, Jeannie and I spoke about testing because I know that they're testing in certain schools, but the reality is we are all somewhat indirectly tested in life to a certain extent, meaning on how we think. Most of us think and react instantly, but how many of us take our time to sit down and really think about what we're going to do next? Not many people. Those who do, which are considered a handful of very successful people, whether it is through money or through something else, take their time on reacting to certain situations. Now, in general, life has thrown curveballs at us and we react instantly, sometimes in the wrong way. This book guides us into understanding that we don't always have to react immediately, succinctly. Why? Because we have options. We have options. Next week, when we review the second part of this book, I hope to learn more about these options. I hope to learn more about what really goes on in our brains and how we can utilize it to become better. This is the Mastermind Book Club on another successful summary / review of an empowering book. Take care.